You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
So happy you could join me here today for part 2 of our Cabral House Calls. Yesterday, we answered around 10 questions, so that was a lot of fun. Kind of moved through quite a bit. We're in a good flow. Hopefully, you got to tune into that show. Everything, I think, on that show, from talking about questions of the certification, questions on bloating, gas, parasites, passing actual tapeworms or roundworms, looking at children's health overall, what types of lab tests that we recommend and are happy to read over, reactions to drinking alcohol. We looked at the advanced collagen support product and how that can help with building or repairing muscle tissue, such as things with plantar fasciitis. We talked about fatty liver disease, well, all sorts of things. So hopefully you tune in. That is episode 960. stephencabral.com/960. And all of the show notes today will be at stephencabral.com/961. So check that out for all of the notes, all of the questions today. One little request, if I could make a request of you, is that in the health category, we're always trying to push the envelope. We're always trying to spread our message to more people. One of the things that helps us do that is simply leaving a review on iTunes just by looking up the Cabral Concept. You just can literally go to your iTunes account, or you can go to, on your phone, just the podcast app. And if you use Google Play or any of those, that's great as well. If you could leave a review, simply leaving ideally 5-star. If you think it's 5-star, if you don't, that's okay as well. But just leaving a review. I always love, of course, your comments, your feedback. I read every single review. Last check, we had 504 reviews. Really enjoy reading those, and it helps me to push this podcast a little higher in the rankings and allow more people to see this message. So just thank you. And if you get time while listening to the show today, maybe you can pop over, leave a review. If you can't, that's okay too. Appreciate you tuning in each and every day and helping me to spread this message. All right, let's get right into it with Marissa. Marissa's our first question of the day. She writes in, what types of alcohol are least harmful on the body? What are the worst types of alcohol? It's a great question. There actually are some types of alcohol that are better than others. For those people without candida overgrowth, without SIBO, without gut-based issues, without acid reflux, without histamine issues, without really bad allergies, if you were to find a dry, red, organic, biodynamic wine and you had a glass, as in one glass, well, that could be healthier for you. If you were to get a white wine, well, again, organic, biodynamic, not as many benefits as the red wine, but still not as bad for you. If we're looking at a cleaner type of tequila, believe it or not, if I go out and let's say I have a drink, I'm usually getting a non-aged tequila. And here's why. It's gluten-free, so it's okay in the candida-based protocol. It's going to have less of the things that feed the gut bacteria, both good and bad. And again, if you have good gut bacteria, then great. But the main reason I do it is this. I go with a non-aged tequila. So that means it was not aged in oak barrels. And that means there's going to be less of a tendency to produce higher levels of histamine because there's no real smokiness to it. There's none of the wood or herbal-based qualities of it. So one of those is, I believe, I don't know about Casamigos, but that's a very popular one right now. I'll have to check in on that. But believe it or not, Patron Silver, so not the other types of Patron, but Patron Silver. I'm not an alcohol connoisseur, that's for sure. So I'm not your expert on this. But what I can tell you is I look into it because I have a practice that people don't want to give up drinking completely, nor should they have to get well. Again, I don't want you to go overboard with alcohol. I think no more than once a week, and that can be part of your cheat meal if you choose to. But anyway, the Patron Silver is not aged in the oak barrels. and it's a Claire alcohol. If you wanted to go with a Tito's or Claire vodka or a Claire gin, that would not be as bad either. The more detrimental ones are the more you get into more of the sugary-based ones. So the sugary-based varieties would be, well, think of it as like a different type of a spiced rum or any of those varieties. But again, the clearer, the cleaner for the most part. Again, there are variations to that because you could look into whiskeys, which wouldn't be as bad. But again, that's a whole different story. What I don't want you to drink are a lot of the mixed drinks that have a lot of the sour mixes and all the extra sugar added to it. Because remember, your sugars can be around somewhere around 30 grams per glass of alcohol. Okay, 30 grams of basically, let's look at it as carbs. Okay, you can call it sugar, alcohol, sugar, whatever. Okay, but you'll double that if you add a mixer to it. So now you're basically getting twice the sugar in one drink. So we don't want to do that. And the other thing we don't want to do is have you drink beer. So beer is not ideal for anyone. Now, just being fair and really balanced in my approach, people who do consume hops that have rheumatoid arthritis or a Th1 dominant based autoimmune issue have actually seen some improvement. That's interesting to me. I look at that. However, there are a dozen things you could do besides drinking beer that could help with your Th1 dominance. So I don't like to go there. Marissa, great question. Hopefully that was helpful. In my practice, for all my gut-based people that I work with, digestive-based people, we typically say, enjoy a margarita, little soda water, a little squeeze of lime, and you're good to go. All right, Tim's up next. Could you please do a podcast on mucoid, plaque, and ropeworms? How to eliminate them, please? Also, your thoughts on mimosa pudica or pudica. I don't think that I know the exact pronunciation to that. That's for sure, especially since English is oftentimes a foreign language to me. And then Tim goes on to write, I'm a huge supporter and listen every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, Tim, happy to answer these questions for you. So mucoid, plaque, and ropeworms, we covered this actually before on our parasite protocol, which also talked about removing the mucoid plaque and biofilms. Let me see if I can find that for you quickly. If not, of course, I'll just link it up in the show notes today at episode 961. And it does not look, oh, there it is right there, 928. So just go to stevencabral.com/928. And on that show, it will say the parasite protocol and testing procedures. That will tell you exactly how to get rid of the biofilms, mucoid plaque, and the ropeworms. Without a doubt, we do before and after testing. We test with the stool. Hey, there's ropeworms, there's some type of parasite. Okay, let's do our parasite-based protocol. Last 42 days. Eliminate those, retest, parasite's gone, we're good to go. So hopefully that helps. Now, in terms of mimosa, pudica, don't know the pronunciation of that, I'm sorry. It's not an herb that we use. I believe its actual translation is like gut remover or gut scraper. I do remember studying it. It's not something that I use in my practice. Have never seen a need for it, to be honest, because we have a parasite protocol that works fantastically well. We have an H. pylori protocol. We have a SIBO and Candida-based protocol. So we just don't use that in particular. Doesn't mean that it could not be great. But remember, I don't like single source plants in general. I'm a huge advocate of synergists. And that's because when I was doing lab testing many years ago, I would look at labs and I would look at what worked for each individual patient as we were going through case studies. And I would see, oh, some people react great with grapefruit seed extract. Some people will work great with oregano. Others with, well, citricidal would be the grapefruit extract with, let's see, undesilic acid. So you get to see that everyone reacts in different ways. So what I do is I use a synergistic-based protocol that uses multi-herbs and it uses biofilm disruptors, and then it actually changes each month. So no matter what works better for you, we know that we're getting that. It's absolutely, I mean, it really is fantastic. There's nothing better than it. There honestly is not. Here's why. Because if there was, I'd be using it. Like, that's the truth. All I do is just look at the research, see what works, and we have so much clinical data that we know that it works. So that's it. All right, Renae's up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I would love to have your opinion on the cause of recurring eye styes. In the last couple of years, I've been experiencing recurring styes with other skin issues on my face, including recurring spots, different to pimples, along with the nostrils and sores, similar but not exactly the same as cold sores along the edges of my lips. I would love your advice. Thank you so much. Kind regards, Renae. Renae, great question, and you basically answered it yourself. I don't know if you know that in your second to last sentence when you said similar to but not exactly the same as cold sores. Okay, because when we look at styes and we look at skin lesions and we look at, sore spots in the nostrils and the side of inside the cheeks, we're looking at an imbalanced immune system, typically dysregulated because of viruses in the body. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to not allow those viruses to thrive. So more of a plant-based diet in the first place is going to help, using specific herbs such as parsley and our chelators such as chlorella in the daily fruit and vegetable blend. And then following our antiviral protocol. So simply go to stevencabral.com/podcasts. And there's a podcast on how to destroy viruses. So let me see if I can find that for you real quick. Usually I just ask people to go to that podcast page. But to be honest, it's such a really important episode since it literally is just outlines our viral protocol. So let me see if this is it. A lot of podcasts on viruses, but it's right here. 760. So your answer is at stevencabral.com/760. How to destroy viruses, herpes, shingles, and cold sores. So Renae, enjoy that show. It's our exact protocol, and it works fantastically well. All right, Christian is up next. Hi there. I have 2 questions. First, I'm looking to purchase your CBD oil that I've heard great things about on Dr. Cabral podcast, but I can't find it on the web store. Do you have it available? If not, can you recommend a reputable brand? Second, I'm suffering from bloating and distension after I eat meals. Can you recommend a protocol to start seeing what is going on in my gut? Thank you, Christian. Happy to answer your questions, Christian. These came in on June 24th, just to let you know where they came in. It's almost exactly 12 weeks later. So first, CBD oil. I will talk about this in depth once we get it back online, which should hopefully be next week. We're in the very final stages of working with our bank processor. Keep in mind, we have thousands of bottles just at our warehouse, our shipping center, ready to be shipped. Just created them 5 weeks ago. They've been shelved for 5 weeks and we're ready to go. We have them in our private practice, but we can't sell them online. And that's simply because our bank processor will not allow it. We're ready. It's the best stuff out there. It really is. And that's why, we were one of the originators in the space 2.5 years ago. Hardly anybody was doing it. And we built up an enormous following for our CBD oil because it's the very best out there. And you can see it. I always ask people to put it to the test. You look at other brands out there right now, and the functional medicine brands are getting into it, which is great. But you look at their dosage, 10 milligrams. Some of them are 5 milligrams. Ours, 25 milligrams per dropper. 25 milligrams. 2.5 times the amount, right? 250 times the potency. And it's not the 250 times the price, right? So it's the best product out there, and it will be back out in about a week. But remember, again, I only formulate products if there's not a product already out there that's already what I can recommend. And you see me do that all the time in my private practice. So tune back in soon. It'll be on the podcast. I will hopefully be talking about it on next Friday's review. Hopefully. We're getting there. All right, next up, you were suffering from bloating and dissension after eat meals. Absolutely, we can help with this. 3 lab tests, organic acids test, stool test, food sensitivity test, in that order. If you can afford to do all 3, you definitely do all 3. If you can only afford 2, organic acids and stool. If you can only afford 1, it's the organic acids test. Not only will you get your results, I will personally read them over. I'll give you my recommendations. You'll speak with one of my health coaches, and you will get a personalized protocol for you to make sure that you get rid of those symptoms. Okay, Jennifer's up next. Jennifer's writing, Dear Dr. Cabral, I just started listening to your podcast and reading your book, as well as doing your detox. I'm a huge fan of your message and very interested in pursuing a career in the field. 2 questions. What specific licensing training have stout health coaches gone through? I hope that's the word that you're meaning. Also, have you mentioned you are going to do a training in September and doing speaking engagements? Can you provide details on the courses and how to participate in speaking engagements I can attend? I live in Newport Beach, California, and would love to promote your products and message locally. Jennifer, thank you so much for reaching out and really appreciate. I honestly, huge fan of people reposting my podcast, showing photos of the Dr. Cabral Detox, showing photos of their daily fruit and vegetable blend, their smoothies, their meals, whatever it is, and tagging me on that or just basically put it in their Instagram story. I repost some of them, and I just really appreciate that. So thank you saying that you would promote what I am doing and where I'm speaking. So yes, end of September. It's already out now. I know, like, this came in June 24th. Well, we're already talking about the Integrative Health Practitioner Certification. It's going to help people to become health coaches, but it's also going to help people, if you're already a health coach or doctor or personal trainer or practitioner in the space, to take your career to the next level. So really excited about that. Simply go to stephencabral.com/961 for the link on where to get more information on that right now. Okay, that will be coming out in just about 10 days, and we're going to let our first 100 founding members in. Okay, what else? Where am I speaking over the next 2 months? Well, I'm speaking in San Jose. I'm speaking in Austin, Texas. I'm speaking in, where I can't even think right now, in Arizona. That I already spoke about. That's at the Healthpreneur Live event. Well, one more location. Oh, in Tampa. So some of these I am going and I'll be doing video shoots, or I'll be doing private podcasts, or like the one in Austin, I'm speaking at a closed group meeting of about 60 high-end entrepreneurs, really amazing people, and love going to those groups as well. What else? And then the one in, well, I think I pretty much covered them all. So whenever I do events that are open to the public, I try to mention those on the podcast as well. So hopefully those answered your questions. I believe that's everything. All right, Heather's up next. I'm currently dealing with inflammation, very fatigue, low energy, feel like a zombie, depression, anxiety. What would be your 100 best tips? Okay, it says, what would be your 100% best tips to help overcome this and get on the road to recovery? I had to quit my job due to my health issues, so any tips would be amazing. I'm about to see an integrative health doctor here in New Zealand, so I'm hoping to be able to get some answers and can finally start feeling energetic and alive again. Please help. Okay, Heather, the absolute best thing you can do, because it costs next to nothing, is read the book, The Rain Barrel Effect. You know, for me to help someone in your position, depression, anxiety, no energy, inflammation, what we're really talking about is rebuilding the body from the ground up. I teach you exactly how you got here. Because remember, if I teach you how to rebuild your body and get well, great, then I helped you to get well. But I also need to teach you, and this is just as important, I need to teach you how you got there. And I do that in the Rain Barrel Effect. So 100% of all profits go to charity, and I want people to know that, because I want to promote that book as much as I can. I'm not a very good marketer. I'm not a very good promoter of my work. One day I'll have a team that can do that, because I just like to teach. But honestly, I would love every person in the world to have a copy of that book. And if I'm ever able to set up a foundation one day to do these types of things, I would just love to be able to get that book out to schools, to families, to people, so that we can begin to teach the next generation of people. I don't need credit for it. I don't need money for the book. I just want to get the information out to people. So really, it's about reading that book. Honestly, that's my best place to start, because I could also tell you to run the thyroid adrenal hormone test, and I'd recommend it. I could tell you to run the organic acid test to see if there's a gut-based issue, or run the hair tissue mineral analysis to look at electrolyte deficiency or imbalances, or the omega-3 test to see if you have high levels of omega-6s and inflammation, or the stool test to check for parasites, H. pylori, and other gut-based issues, right? Or fruit sensitivities that can be causing inflammation. But I need you to really begin at the foundation. So you can run the Dr. Cabral Big Five, of course, but really begin with the education first. So that's what I recommend. Check it out. It's called the Rain Barrel Effect. All right. Larry, it's Laree, is up next. I came across you via Melissa's podcast, Melissa Ambrosini's recent podcast. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story, your knowledge and expertise in the area. I resonated with everything you said and held on to every precious nugget you shared. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. When I have time, I'm going to go back and listen to previous podcasts. All right, it's a long question, so I'm going to give you the gist of this and see exactly what's going on. You mentioned that in the fall, you'll be offering an upcoming course. I was very keen about learning about this new course. I've been researching functional medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and want to learn more about it. I'm also keen to take one of your tests, not sure which one. Vegan since April. My concentration, productivity, energy levels have soared since dropping dairy and fish. I'm also loving life more. But since I started to meditate and turn plant-based, my life is so much better. In regards to the test, I get more bloated now, and I'm plant-based. I guess I want to make sure all is okay. All right, so really great questions, and I'm sure you just heard me say that the certification to become an integrative health practitioner, whether it's just for your own private knowledge or you want to use this in your career or begin a career, is coming out this October 1st, right around there. It might be the 2nd, might be the 3rd, but anyone that signs up on the early bird notification list will get a notification 24 hours before everyone else. The reason why that's important is we're going to allow 100 people in for the first group. Just make sure they're taken care of, get their feedback. Really, they're the founding members. They're going to get 50% off. And it's just going to be a real great, I think, synergistic relationship. I mean, that's the thing is like, we're going to give them a great deal. We're going to give them all the material they need. They're going to give us their feedback. We're going to make it literally the best in the world. That's my promise, is that I don't like to do a lot of different things in life. I like to try to do the few things that I can do and do it to the best of my ability, take feedback, make it better. That's it. So that's that on that. And then in terms of bloating after eating, well, when you become more plant-based, you're actually getting a lot more fiber and a lot more prebiotic fiber. Now, if things don't begin to self-regulate in 2 to 3 weeks, there may be a potential gut dysbiosis. It simply means there's an imbalance in gut bacteria. This can happen after antibiotics and birth control and Advil and tap water with chlorine and fluoride in it. So best thing you can do is simply run a organic acids test and a stool test. So those two will let you know what's going on with your gut. I'm so happy to hear that you are becoming more plant-based, or totally plant-based if you are, and that you're getting great results. So appreciate hearing that. I just want to make sure that you're 100% and that you're not feeding candida or bacterial overgrowth. So you could run those labs and you will know for sure. Plus, you'll get our specific plans if we do find anything. All right. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you in the Integrative Health Practitioner founding members coming up as well. All right. So Chris is up next. Chris will be our last question today. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'll keep this short, but look forward to working with you soon. Your book and podcast are such a blessing for myself and my family. I've learned so much. We are a family of health issues with my 11-year-old son. The most severe suffer from pandas and Lyme and missed this whole grade 5 year. We struggle every day as my wife has had to leave her job to take care of him. However, it is because of functional, progressive, forward-thinking practitioners like yourself who have been in the trenches and felt this pain that give us immense hope. Thank you for what you do. You inspire me. I know we can figure this out and we'll begin to empty our overloaded rain barrels and begin to heal. We will be in touch. Chris, I don't know if we've already been in touch. I don't know if you've already run labs with my team and I. If you have, guaranteed I've already looked at your son's labs and that I've started to make recommendations. I know that you and your family can get through this. I hate to hear that kids are sick, but I'll tell you this. Kids are strong and they will rebound. And I honestly believe that your son will be better for this. And same with you as a family, because you're learning a lot right now, right? You're learning a lot. So is your son. I learned a lot when I was 17. Wouldn't be where I am today without having gone through that struggle. So, well, let's get him taking the organic acids test and stool test, right? Those are the two most important. I would love to see a hair tissue mineral analysis as well and an omega-3 test. But, we'll start with what we can start with. Let's get rid of what, if you took antibiotics for the Lyme, it can also create pandas. Like it's very frustrating. I don't think the protocols we have for Lyme right now are doing people a lot of favors. I think they're causing a lot of harm in the long run. I do want to teach on Lyme in the future. It's going to have to be a course. So hard for me to just talk about it in a 30-minute podcast because it's preventing Lyme. It's what happens if you get bit. It's then beginning a herbal-based and natural-based remedy protocol instead of the antibiotics. What to do and when to decide to use antibiotics if you need them. If you're taking antibiotics, which probiotics to use along with them, plus non-pathogenic forms of yeast. How to then rebuild the gut. It's a lot, right? But working with a really good qualified practitioner, you'll be able to get all of that knowledge. I want your son to rebalance his gut. I want him to lower his omega-6s. I want to seal up that gut wall, and then I want him to decrease overall inflammation. And I want him back playing sports, feeling absolutely fantastic. That will take the stress off your wife. It'll take the stress off you and your whole family. I know you can get there. So keep that hope alive. You will get there. I have no doubt. And I appreciate you writing in. Take care, everyone. This episode literally flew by. I can't believe that it started 25 minutes ago. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate our community. Thank you, as always, for sharing these episodes with anyone you believe they could help. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.